Nation. That was Chris Guru After Dark. It's been
It's a
a
good
while.
one.
I drink to that one. That was Chris Sauber's favorite song, Chris.
My current favorite.
You put us up on a great one, man. And let's take this starting soon. Tell a friend right now.
So you both liked it?
Yes. First 20 seconds is all I heard as I was downloading it, preparing it for the show. And I thought it was going to start. It definitely started like kind of Great Depression vibe.
Baby wants a Birkin. And she's telling me to get groceries and gas.
You're talking about like a Birkin, Hermes Birkin bag?
I had to look that up.
Is it Birkenstocks like what the girls wear now?
I had to look it up what a Birkin purse costs. Oh my God. Have you ever looked at how much these things cost?
Yeah, my wife got some sandals. They cost a lot.
Yeah, try a Birkin purse. Can we was like 30 grand.
Can we start with the like fragrances or the perfumes? I mean, that's where most people kind of ease their way into the Birkin.
Yeah, right.
Wait, is this the same Birkin as the sandals?
No. For God's sakes. Damn.
Those are expensive too. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, this is, so Hermes makes a Birkin bag. It's a style of a bag, but it's not like Birkenstock is Birkenstock.
And they run from $30,000 to $300,000 for a purse.
And so, just guys, real quickly, my colleague from Australia is actually watching us right now. Big shout out to
everyone in Australia. Big shout out to my boy Luke Eddington too.
Got a shout out to Ella, and Ella is an absolute savant as it pertains to Hermes.
Darshan.
Darshan knows what it is.
By the way, where is Darshan? Why?
Kulkarni.
Man,
you want Kulkarni on right now?
I'm telling you, like it's always livelier with the
Darshan.
I don't know. But the problem is he may not be. He could be in his underwear right now. It's possible.
I mean.
Well, you can't see any of us from the waist down, so whatever.
Well, it is. Well, I mean, he might be topless, shirtless, whatever you want to call it. It's 10 o'clock at night.
How about just busy?
Darshan, comment back if you want an invite. Otherwise, we'll do front.
No, Darshan, you are not banned. What are you talking about?
I am banned. All right, let's invite Darshan. Hold on, Darshan. We don't want a bill after this for.
That's the only problem. Darshan does send out those bills. Boy,
Chris had to kick off an attorney recently for he cut a Zoom call real short.
Yeah, because
an attorney was on.
Yeah,
it was like, hold on, guys, we can discuss this privately. Let's.
Because you and the other person were talking for like 3 to 5 minutes, and she's just sitting there like doing other things, and I'm like, hey, hold up. Attorney, is this charged per call or by the minute?
Thank God, because Chris is fiscally responsible, so it's for him to be on these types of calls.
Yeah, otherwise we just have taking notes like Otter AI.
Exactly.
But at different rate. Robert.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna turn somber a little bit. We'll wait for Darshan to come on. He'll change the mood. This morning I did a podcast with Alicia, somebody brand new that I ran into. She created this group called Clinical Research Professionals That Are Out of Work.
I saw that.
You saw? Okay, thank you. We need to support because there are people out there that are serious. The stigma is the people that are out of work are not trying or there's something wrong with them. I mean, there's some truth to that too for some, but there are many like Alicia and like minds tend to stick together, especially on LinkedIn, that are going through hard times, like really hard times. So at first I thought Chris's song would have been even more appropriate if it was going Great Depression route, but it got party vibes after. And I think you called it, Robert, early. You called it like when we first started Guru After Dark.
Yeah.
Merck just announced layoffs too, according to Helen. Darshan's on. Darshan, where's your Birkin, man?
Double D, where's your Hermes belt? I mean, I need a belt.
I don't have my Birkin, but I did put on a shirt because Robert was already talking about shirtless, topless pics.
Wait, we hear some echo for a long-time listener, first-time caller. Your radio's on in the background. Do you guys remember those days? I remember listening to sports radio as a kid and thought that was the coolest thing ever. I actually called into, little known fact, I called into sports San Diego 690 after every Chargers game to try to talk shit. And I got on a few times. And I was like 14 years old. I was just talking with the host, arguing. I wish we had internet back then. I would wish to have those clips. Yep, I thought it was the coolest thing. And look at us now. We're podcasters going Guru Nation After Dark. Darshan, is the audio back?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? I think I fixed that. On my screen, I'm trying to understand, like, the guys with the hair are on the top side and the guys without the hair were left at the bottom. I just want to know where can I get a cap so that I can be on the top as well.
So I'm getting PRP. I'm kind of happy with my progress.
You're getting PRP, really?
Yeah, I'm getting PRP in Mexico. It's working. Yeah.
So I was thinking
my girl Yomada. Shout out to Yomada.
Yeah.
But Dr. Goldman, I have a question for you. What is your opinion on PRP?
I don't really have one. I mean, it's like,
he's into new things, but we can't talk about it.
It seems like the verdict is out. I mean, my dermatologist is like, you should try PRP because I'm like, I think I'm going bald from stress, which I might be, you know.
See, my issue is a different one. It's a protein. It can't be absorbed orally. Can't be absorbed by the skin. It's too big. How the hell is it going to work unless you're injecting it?
They're injecting it. They're injecting
Are they injecting it?
Scalp. I go to Mexico for mine.
Okay. Well, that's a different discussion altogether.
Yeah.
So my colleague just sent me a message on Slack. She's watching, and she's like, "Where's the tequila?" And I'm telling her that there is no tequila involved here.
Well, there's whiskey. Huh? Shout out to Lana.
Zero.
Hooked me up for my birthday.
Yeah.
Dan's got the double shot of whiskey.
We were just talking about because Guru Nation After Dark started because Robert forecasted not a year. It wasn't a year ago, was it? It was like early this year.
No, it was like 6 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
6-7 months ago. Hey man, I think we should go on at night. There's like the layoffs are starting and there's a lot of people like struggling looking for work and they're on LinkedIn at night. And we need to provide some entertainment, some support, some hope, some education, a little bit of everything kind of mixed together. And so that's where Guru Nation After Dark started. And Robert, we've come full circle because this morning, I think we're in peak layoffs right now. Like, unless I'm wrong, is this just the beginning? Are there like more to come? Or do you guys think this is the peak of...
Well, you can answer for me.
How bad it gets. I'm not talking macroeconomy. I'm talking clinical research.
So I'll give you a different version. I feel like we hit the peak probably about last month, the month before.
All right, good.
I'm hoping that it's going to start dying down. But on the other hand, clinical research, I'm hoping clinical research didn't really have the bottom. So I don't know how it's going to play itself out. So you guys might be on a lag, honestly.
I mean, but Darshan, also the sites have not really realized
exactly
just yet, you know, what the people at the vendor and sponsors and CROs are kind of seeing. So
that's my point. There may be a lag for sites that was not, because sponsors and CROs and stuff are going through a heck for the last like 6 months to a year.
But are the CROs actually going through heck, or are they just looking to squeeze profits because Latin America was such a convenient?
No, Dan, I can tell you like with certainty, talking to industry colleagues that hold very high level executive position,
like yourself.
No, I don't work for a CRO.
No, but I mean, you're just high level industry positions.
Well, I mean,
now Robert's got a new gig. Everybody check his profile.
Yeah, I'm at a new place, but aside from that,
yeah.
From a CRO perspective, these, you know, the top 5, pick your favorite 4 to 5 letter, 3-letter acronym.
4 to 5 alphabet.
Yeah. You know, these people are used to running 800 to 1,000 trials across their, you know, company at any given moment. That number is halved right now, for sure. So again, like to Darshan's point, you're not going to see that at the site level. You're not going to appreciate that problem. But I mean, we have a lot of folks out there that are super talented, very, very talented, very smart, very credentialed, and they're out of work 400, 500, 600 days. I mean, it's heartbreaking, really. But I don't want to be somber. This is a Guru After Dark, so we can kind of.
Well, Guru After Dark was born out of tough times.
It was. That's true. It was because I was like, look, Dan, Chris, there's people at night right now. It's 10 o'clock, 10:15 in the East Coast, and they're just scrolling the job forums, worrying what's tomorrow going to bring, you know? So I'm like, we should, you are right. We should come on here and
I think the strategy is not to do that. The strategy is to look at who, like, our sphere of influence are, their sphere of influence, find small sites in your area. We're hiring like QA. I need a QA person. I posted in the forum that Alicia made. It's only 2 days old. It has like 150 members as of this morning. We're willing to give people a shot, like even if it's 5 hours a week, just something to close the gaps on their resume. Just if I could change just even one person's future trajectory, like, hey, your gap of unemployment was a little shorter, because of a site in Yuma. Like, I'm happy to help if you know what you're doing and you're able to help us too, because
Can
we
I
do
make
need.
another suggestion? Looking at as we were just mentioning, the economy may be changing for the other locations. So start considering other jobs. So it may not be at the site level. Start considering jobs at the CRO and the sponsor level, because those will start opening up. On my LinkedIn feed, like 3-4 months ago, it was just we just got fired, massive layoffs. Now I'm seeing we just got hired, I'm starting a new job, blah blah blah. So I think something's changing. So something to keep in mind.
What do you think that something is, if you had to take an educated guess?
So someone told me this. I don't understand this. I'm curious if you guys agree, but someone told me July is the start of a new year, so new fiscal year, and that makes no sense to me. But someone told me that.
So
I don't know.
I kind of agree with that to a certain extent. I've told many people recently, that sites slowed down for a little while at the beginning of summer. Like, a lot of people, I'm assuming, at sponsor level are taking vacations, and then it picks back up August, September from like studies being awarded to sites.
And then crashes November, December.
Exactly.
Oh, it goes silent.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, we just got 3 new studies. Chris is doing our budgets. We got 3 studies.
There you go. Early August, right? I mean, it's not quite August, but yeah.
Soon to be. Yeah.
It seems to be the way it's worked, at least for me, in the last 5 years in negotiating budgets. It dies off May, June.
Yeah.
And it picks back up in August.
I think sites, like to you guys' point, maybe it's lagging and the studies slowed down. I think sites may need to be careful. I feel like if we don't, my site in particular, if we don't get another study this year, we're still okay. But if they start pulling studies, it's time to start panicking a little, especially if we can't replace those studies. But that's 2 things that have to go wrong. And right now I'm not seeing either of those. So just knock on wood and take another shot of whiskey and hopefully hope for the best.
That sounded like a country song.
Sounded like the intro. Did you hear the intro, Darshan? Chris's song?
I did not.
You missed out, man. It was
a good one.
I just saw you guys come up saying Guru Nation After Dark. I was like, I'm not invited anymore. I must talk too much. So I must shut up.
That is absolutely not true.
Not the case, Darshan. We actually got to do a fraud pod soon.
Oh, then we lose. Screw you guys. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Screw you guys. I'm out of here.
That's hilarious. I wonder if that was planned. Oh, there he is.
No, I'm trying to stream this to my audience, and it's giving me issues. So I was trying to
StreamYard's kind of weird sometimes. Helen says, generally, I agree. Everyone in the industry gears up their new trials in the fall to get going for when they shut down for the holidays. So maybe we expect another surge in the fall. Then we'll be good. If that happens, I would probably need like 1 or 2 more staff for next year. And the good thing about studies is they're not just for a year for the most part. Certain trials will keep you busy multiple years if you get the right study.
Indeed.
So I don't know. I'm still bullish at the site level. Maybe it depends where your site is located. Like maybe your location has a lot to do with it. I know LA, Miami, Houston, it's a little more competitive, a lot more competitive. But I think the markets are different too. Like sites of my size, like when we go on a hiring spree, it means we hire 2 people. That's like a lot. That's a big hiring right there. It's like, do we really want 2 or do we just want 1? And CROs and sponsors, when they hire by the dozens, from what I understand. So, and then when they lay off by what? The hundreds?
I would imagine. I mean, there's probably several rounds of reductions in force, but it's I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anything quite like it at the sponsor, CRO, and vendor level. A lot of colleagues.
You were in the industry in 2008, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it really shut down, or at least slowed down.
That was worse than this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I was really junior, kind of just in like at the site level, like just getting my feet wet. So I don't have a real good appreciation as I do now. I mean, I was on the phone with a couple of colleagues today that are like 30+ year industry veterans, and just they're struggling. It's very, very wild. So I don't know. I personally have never seen anything like it at the point of my career in which I'm in currently. Not to say that it's not synonymous to 2008, but I just don't think I was developed enough to really realize or appreciate what was happening, because I was kind of in my own little bubble,
So I think this is different from 2008. And even though for me it's been like a year of sort of pain, I think 2008 was different because there was no money. And the difference is, I think right now, there is money, it's just waiting on the sidelines. So there was no hope in 2008. Right now, it's more a question of when will from what I gather, I've heard that the money is in the hundreds of millions, sorry, hundreds of billions right now. It's just waiting on the sidelines. And I thought it would be based on after the elections, the money will start getting released. But I think every 2 to 3 months, you see like this uptick, for me at least, of clients coming in, wanting to talk, getting more stuff done. I used to have a close rate of like 75 to 80% of the people I spoke to would probably convert to a client. Over the last year, probably dropped closer to 25%. So it's a pretty big drop for me. But right now, I'm seeing a higher uptick. Hey, Rod.
Rod says, "Why is this happening?"
Big shout out to Rod.
Shout out to Rod Raphael. Rod, if you want to come on, hit me up.
So I think it comes down to, is this a real or not? And I can't tell if it's real or not, because people are making pitches. How many of them convert? Like you just mentioned, Dan, you might hire someone depending on how things go. I think a lot of people are in the might spaces. The question is, will it become real? Because people then go, you know what, maybe I'll just wait for another 2 months. It's not going to hurt anything.
Right.
And I think that, and Darshan, to your point, that's why we're seeing a lot of these job advertisements on LinkedIn, that I feel like they're just kind of accumulating a database for this when it might happen type of a deal.
Yeah, they call them phantom posts. I talked to Alicia this morning. She's like, stay away from those phantom posts.
Well, Darshan, your customers and clients are sponsors and CROs, right?
No, sponsors, CROs, sites, health tech companies, advertising agencies, medical affairs companies, like literally across the board. I serve the entire industry.
Okay, sure. But from the way you describe it, though, it all stems from the sponsors for the most part.
I'm not sure I necessarily agree. In fact, I'd say at this moment, I don't think I have a single sponsor on my list. I have no CROs. They're mostly sites.
But centers, sites are getting studies from sponsors.
Sure.
The vendors are getting studies from sponsors.
Yeah, Chris means the sponsors are sponsoring. They're financing it, the whole industry.
Sure, I agree with that part. Absolutely. To the point you're making there, yeah, absolutely. But I didn't know. But that's always been true, right?
Sure. But what's different now compared to 2008 is the stock market, right?
Yes.
They're flush with money because the stocks are increasing in price.
Yeah.
If you experience a stock market crash, well,
have you been looking at the stock market the last 3 days?
I have, and it's gone up. I mean, it had a bad day yesterday. Did fine.
You had
today.
a terrible day today and yesterday. Like,
no, if you're an AQST shareholder, not financial advice, but AQST.
The Dow went up by 80 points. Yesterday it lost.
Yeah, I do NASDAQ, but yeah, NASDAQ was. I got hit well over.
It sounds like you're gonna have to.
I'm gonna be working at OnlyFans soon.
That might be next.
My point is the stock market dictates, right? How many studies are out there?
Darshan, just do like a few more, consulting calls and you'll be fine. No?
Yeah, exactly. I'm joining, waiting for Dan to say those 2 more people. I'm joining Yuma Clinical Trials.
Actually, well, we got something. Maybe we'll announce it today, but I think we already kind of announced it. Darshan's joining us on the Site Owner Academy. Yeah. He's the brakes to everyone's gas in this case. So
I'm the killjoy.
Yeah, me, Chris, Judy, Ashley, Monica were like, go, do this, do that, get this, get that. Darshan's like, wait a minute, slow down. You're gonna get in trouble. So we have a good balance now for the Site Owner Academy, and I think a lot of site owners appreciate that because they need to know what the rules of the road are if you're gonna drive a car, especially if you drive a V12 like Chris.
Damn, you have a V12? We can't hear you, Chris.
Chris,
he's exaggerating quite a bit. I do not have a V12. I don't have a Lamborghini.
What is that Corvette then? What is that?
What's the newest generation? But
V19. What's the problem here?
What is this? It's not V12?
V8. It's a V8.
Oh, V8? Oh, okay. Zeba says, don't scare me, guys. LOL. Well, if you haven't
Don't
been
scare
scared
my guys. I
already,
don't know who her guys are.
have you not been on LinkedIn? I get scared when I go on there. What the hell is going on? What world am I living
I've
in?
actually I've literally been staying off of LinkedIn because it gives me like
Anxiety?
it really does some sort of it. I'm not sure like how to define it, but I literally my heart breaks for some of these people. I mean, it's like every day I'm open to work. I've been laid off. I've been this.
Let me
I've
look
been
up
that.
Zeba's profile. Let me tell you if you should be afraid or not. West Hartford, Connecticut, clinical project manager, consulting. Prior to that, data management. Prior to that, with the sponsors. Yeah, if you're consulting for the last 8 months.
Well, if she survived the last 8 months, those are the worst 8 months we've had in a while. So good for her.
Reid Hoffman, guys. Whether you're a fan of his or not, he's the founder of this platform that we are on, LinkedIn.
I've heard about him recently.
He made a post on Twitter. He said by 2035, so that's only 10 years from now, over 50% of Americans will be gig workers. Like, you won't have a job, you'll have gigs.
Here's my real question. How many of those Americans are actually even working at that point? Because AI was supposed to take over by like 25 or so. My real question is everyone's saying AI is already over the hype. So gig workers, are we now? I don't know if you guys remember, I forget which cartoon it was, but humans just would stop working. They'd just sit in this fat chair and we'd all just be eating popcorn.
Yeah, that cartoon, right?
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, I know
You
which one. Wally.
Maybe we start a band.
Fat Americans?
Yeah, whatever.
GLP-1 generation.
The GLP-1 generation.
GLP-1s. I mean, exactly. Something of the sort. I mean,
dude, I've actually lost 25 pounds on my GLP-1s. I'm not even complaining. I'll take it.
That's amazing.
That's good. And how much of the GLP-1s have been boosting the clinical research economy? And that's, I guess, coming to an end because Viking just got approval or is about to get approval on their phase 3.
No one's
really good
stopping it though, because they're all talking about doing another generation of GLP-1s.
So that alone should keep people busy.
Yeah.
It may not be enough to keep everyone busy who has been busy because of COVID. How much of this is due to overhiring after COVID?
You know, I think that's a lot of hype. Honestly, that's just that's a lot
Really?
of lip service. I really do. I mean, it's overhiring as a result of COVID. Why? It was a drive towards the vaccine development, right? I don't see why would you overhire for other indications above and beyond all the efforts that were being thrown at COVID? I just feel like that's
I'll answer that for you.
Sure.
Two different answers. One is bird flu because everyone's talking about that already, and the second answer is I think treatment to fatness because you're basically causing metabolic syndrome. I think everyone wants that because you're basically treating, again, not a doctor. You tell me, but I mean, you're treating diabetes and liver disease and everything else.
You are a doctor.
I'm a doctor, but yes,
you are. But I mean, I don't really know the answer to that question in a sense. I mean, I think that, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think COVID was the catalyst for the reason, like they were overhiring because of the demand in which things were backburnered to prioritize COVID.
Right.
And they were overhiring because rates were almost 0%.
Exactly.
And now rates are 7%.
And these salaries that were being tossed out in effort to recruit talent were absolutely 30-40% higher than what they probably should have been. And now they can't sustain those numbers. And as a result, people are now like, there's like this reset. I mean, you go back and here's the troubling part. You have people that are insanely experienced, incredibly credentialed, and they're willing to work at rates that we saw 10 years ago. And inflation is exponentially higher than 10 years ago. So I'm not quite understanding the whole dynamic myself, but I'm seeing colleagues take positions, to keep food on the table, keep the lights on, just to make ends meet in a sense. So it's a crazy time, guys.
Cold summer.
And listen, the question is, can you weather the storm until the sun shines again?
Agreed.
And the answer from our podcast this morning with Alicia is you have to. You have to find.
You have to.
Find
those who build boats,
stay afloat.
Thank you.
Me and Robert got a mixtape coming out soon.
Yeah, it's coming out. Volume 1 next week.
Volume 1. Zeba says, trying to consulting, but it's a bit slow. Contemplating using LinkedIn less. The job search troubles are
But
real.
you're missing Zeba's best quote yet. like
My
you
husband wants to
Yes.
start a band since I lost my
There you
job.
go. That was we are known as the GLP-1s, except Chris.
You want to ban me? You should pay me to not sing. That's how bad I am.
I think
Right,
next
I'm
I'm
week
right
Chris
there
should
with
be
I'm
you.
right there with you, Darshan.
Darshan, you just stand in the back and strum a guitar. You'll be fine. You just smile. Just give us that beautiful smile of yours, and you'll be good.
Shout out
Fair
to
enough.
Umar Hayat Trials 360. We still have kids to put through college.
So here's
That's
the
another
thing.
thing. You're a
I have
college professor, Darshan.
I am. I'm actually working on my. I'm teaching a course on FDA regulatory law at Drexel University, and I'm redoing the entire
Unbelievable.
syllabus. I've been teaching for 3 or 4 years. I'm getting
You
rid of
wrote
the
the
textbook.
syllabus?
I'm updating the entire syllabus to make it
Wow.
more current. But I mean, Drexel's been great, to be perfectly honest. But the point I was making was, a friend of mine, wonderful person. She's not in clinical research. She's actually in promotional compliance, and it's so hard. She literally sold her house and is moving in with a friend because for the last 8 months it's been so hard out there.
Wait, your friend is a professor also, or
No, she's actually in clinical research. She does management kind of work around promotional compliance. My point being, it's just a really hard market. So if you are without a job, you're not alone. It's not a personal thing. She's really good at what she does. It's just hard.
Is that a joke, Helen? I hope that's a
Helen
joke.
is hilarious. I had her on my podcast. I'm sending my kid out to the malls with her violin for grocery money.
Even if she's as cute as that, the kid, I'm sure she's getting a ton of money.
Helen's awesome. She was on the podcast recently. She's super experienced. A Phoenix person too, Robert.
Oh wow. Okay.
We need to chat, Darshan. I'm starting my DPP next month in Reg Affairs. Oh yeah, she's getting a doctorate degree.
Whoa.
We're actually supposed to do a series of, and she's doing the education the right way.
She says she's totally serious.
Reach out, Helen. Totally.
Well,
okay
that's
with
even
me.
funnier. I mean, that's sending the.
I thought she was
kids to
talking the grocery money part.
That's not funny.
She's sending the kid to the grocery store
No.
with the violin.
Yeah,
No.
she's serious about that. Why?
She's sending her kid to the mall with a
I'm
violin
sending
for
my kid out
grocery
to the
money.
malls with her violin for grocery money.
She's putting the case
It's a
out,
joke.
but no, she just said she's totally serious.
That's the question.
No,
Is
she's
she
totally
serious about the
serious
DPP
about
or
the
the
doctorate.
kid part?
The doctorate degree.
I'm pretty sure it's well,
Unless
Helen,
the
what
kid is
it?
great at violin, I would do the same thing.
Well,
Did
I
you guys
asked
see
is she being serious or joking? That's why I thought she was responding to me.
Helen, you got some experience.
Did you guys see the thing where there was like this world famous violinist who literally
Yes, I
charged
saw
me
it.
like, you saw that, did you?
In the subway of New York?
Yeah.
Like he like the night before he did the sold out performance.
Yeah.
People were paying thousands of dollars. Then he's like in the subway getting zero attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. It's amazing.
So don't do it, Helen.
They need her to fund the degree too. That's another topic. 10 years from now, if Reid Hoffman's correct, and he was right about everything, like him or hate him, the guy's obviously smart. I would say he's a futurist because he invests his money and he's made his money in betting on the future, and he's done it well. If he says half of the country's gig economy 2035, right? Robert, where'd Robert go?
His wife called.
All right. Duty calls, so you gotta take care of that.
That's right.
If half the economy, or if half the Americans are in the gig economy, while simultaneously the world is getting flatter. Remember, right now Latin America is booming. They're not CROs. They are not hiring freeze. They're hiring. A lot of the jobs lost here went to Latin America because it's the same time zone. English is just as good. I was just there. I couldn't believe what I saw and heard.
Here's the problem. I actually have a client who wants to move a lot of content to be done there. Be really careful about your privacy concerns. You can't just keep taking patient data and moving it over.
They're not like here where they pay Darshan to keep them compliant.
They aren't compliant. The problem is I'm seeing a lot of smaller sites do it and then going, wait, I shouldn't have done that. Then someone goes, well, they're just doing the pharmacovigilance because and there's no PHI. I'm like, what do you think adverse events are? How is that not PHI? So be really careful about doing that, or reach out to me. But yeah, just also talk. Just because someone's a doctor doesn't mean that they are privacy compliant. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah, that part's hilarious. Zeba says, Helen, we'll put your kid in our band. Let's make some money. There you go. Okay, if
Umar at this point is straight up marketing Trials 360 at this point.
Yeah, Umar, we get it, man. It's great. Listen, Reed said, I'm not getting off of this topic, right? Reed Hoffman said by 2035, 50% of Americans are gig workers. 50% of Americans don't have that mentality. The four of us do, right? We didn't get it overnight either. How is 50% of these people out here going to be working for themselves, marketing, and question B, especially for the college professor, do you think degrees are worth it anymore at that point?
So I'll answer the question in two parts. So number one, just notice he did not say are exclusively gig workers. And that means that...
Let me find the thread. All right. But keep going. I'm going to find the thread.
I'll tell you right now, having a extra gig, I did that in the early 2000s. People always have extra gigs. The people who don't were the ones who are in trouble. So so make sure that you are considering the fact that
Here's what he said. Ready? LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman predicts the end of the 9-to-5 job by 2034. He foresees a gig economy revolution with 50% of the U.S. workforce freelancing only, but earning more than traditional employees. Specialized skills plus global demand equals premium rates.
I don't know if I agree with that statement. I think that he may be right that there will be a booming gig economy, but I think what most people realize, especially right now, is you want some stability. So for me, at least, the ideal scenario is you have a bunch of clients on retainer. Exactly like Helen says, anyone here will really work only 9 to 5?
No.
So
no, what is it now? After dark.
Exactly.
I don't consider this work. I consider this time with friends. But honestly, it's work. It's the new kind of work too.
I wish, Helen. That's all I can say.
9 to 5. I don't think I've ever. Yeah.
I mean, literally, I remember in 2000, I had 16 simultaneous jobs. Right now, I actually have, I think, 8 simultaneous jobs. I don't think that's ever stopped.
Does the Site Owner Academy your 9th?
No, that's not even counted.
What?
No, I don't count that.
I'm talking about actual. Why? What do we got to do to count that for you?
Well, get some money.
Fair enough.
Damn,
I'm gonna go play violin at the mall too.
You need to outsource that to your kids. That's the key. You got 2 cute dogs. Make them
buffering.
do it.
It's buffering. Okay. Oh my.
Hey, goodness. Christina.
This is a living legend right here, right? Christina D'Arcangelo. Hell no. We all work around the clock. Yes, but how many people, Christina, are going to learn this the hard way? I think right now might be a wake-up call for, if Reed is right, a decade from now. This is going to be the norm. We're sitting here talking about when things are going to get better. There is a world where it never gets better, and you better get your act together and figure it out.
Yep, plan
That's what Reed's saying. That's what Reed's saying.
Yeah.
That's what Reed is saying.
I'm loving Helen's comments the most.
Helen is hilarious.
Helen's on fire.
I'm telling you guys. I interviewed her at 6 a.m. one day, and she was waking me up. Any idea what my kid's violin?
What type of violin?
I don't know anything.
Kids in there with the Stradivarius.
Yeah, that one.
You are right. They need to wake up. See, Christina knows. It's time to wake up. Maybe Guru Nation After Dark is wake up call for people.
I want to do a quick promo for Christina. She just put out a book, by the way.
Really?
I think it's called Saving Mom, and it's actually a really good book about something she did recently. I went to her book signing. She's a badass.
She's a local one to you, right? You guys are both Philly people.
We are.
Alessandro's cheesesteak's the best place. I don't know what Helen's talking about anymore, but we love you.
She has 4 violins.
4 Stradivariuses.
Well, that's 4 revenue streams. 4 streams of revenue. We got to think differently, said Reid Hoffman. All right. What about positive stuff, guys? It's all negative. What do you do now to prepare yourself? Forget everyone else. Let's go around here. Each of you.
Here's what I do. I think to me, the key is stop depending on the job. You become the brand.
Yes.
I see that with every single one of us on this call right now. Every single one of us has worked really hard to make sure that you're the brand. So when we go out there, you're not just hiring Darshan, the lawyer. There are 100 lawyers out there. I don't know 100 lawyers who do what I do, but there are 100 lawyers out there. They are, however, not a brand. I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of effort doing this. And if you want to be ready for 2035, you need to become a brand. And that could be blogging, that could be speaking, that could be podcasting, that could be working for a brand like Guru Nation, that could be reaching out to Dr. Goldman going, teach me, oh great Obi-Wan.
Darshan is on one tonight.
He's on
It's
one
late
right
over there, man. You're energized.
Dude, I just finished Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I came back. I was
you're
teaching.
pumped. Darshan will also kick your ass too. So if you don't pay him, he's got the means to collect. Accounts receivable.
I'm accounts receivable.
So would you guys agree with Darshan, or what are you doing to prepare yourselves for 2034?
I mean, I agree with him completely. You have to have your own. You are the brand. I mean, damn, people reach out to all of us, all four of us on this call for a reason. Whether they've seen us on a podcast, they've seen us at a conference, they've heard us talk to that person, or it's a referral. I mean, I've said this a long time ago, like years ago. Your network is your net worth, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, not to reinvent the wheel. I completely agree with Darshan. You kind of have to carve out your own piece of the pie, however you see that fit. And you can't be dependent, because I think it's very, very apparent, 20, 30 years of service at a single company. You wake up.
The days of that are gone.
Yeah, they're gone. But I'm saying those who have gotten to that point, they've just been disposed of, as if their tenure has just been completely dismissed. It's like, see you later. So I think that's a wake-up call. You can't depend on the job, to Darshan's point.
I would also say the money's in the niches. Find your niche.
I have this theory about small companies. While you can find them, if you could keep hopping, they are riskier because they're not as stable, obviously. But if you catch the right one, they're growing year over year. So their problems are everything else except laying people off. Like, their problems are, we need more people. We need to figure things out. We need to have some control with what we do. When you get to a company that's stagnate, that's when you're risking it all. Because, like, when they can't grow anymore and they've got investors with their hands out, like, hey, give me my money because I could put my money, 8% right now. Like, what are you doing with my money? So then they're going to say, well, Latin America is 1/10 the cost. Let's just put some startup specialists there and get rid of 100 of them here.
Here's my other piece of advice. If you're going to be the brand, charge as the brand. Because the truth is, at some point, you're going to land up being the one who's pushing the brand forward. And if they're expecting you to do the work for them, then recognize your worth. One of the things I've learned the hard way, do not do lower rates, because if you do lower rates, people are not easier because they're the lower rates.
They're harder. Chris says it all the time. Who's our worst clients, Chris? The ones that pay the least.
Yeah.
Take the longest to pay.
Do you know how much a Stradivarius costs at minimum?
It's several $1 million.
I thought Birkins were expensive. My goodness.
Wait, what are you talking about now?
The violins.
Yeah, they start at $8 million.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. I hope you have
what is it made out of? Is it made out of like koala crawled up bamboo?
No.
I mean, what is going on?
They're old.
They're from like the 1700s something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like Ben Franklin played with one of those.
Helen, you better invest in your kid's budget.
Stradivarius. I love the name.
No, it literally was an artist who called Stradivarius who'd make these violins.
Yep.
And apparently the wood was so good, it was only made at that time. So you can't.
There's a Romanian rapper.
The best violin.
Yeah.
Can we work that into like stratification of patients in clinical trials? Like instead of randomization, like we just call it, listen, you're going to be Stradivarius. Is that a possibility? Can we create that?
That's the highest brand. So we're going to have Stradivarius, Birkin, Macy's.
And then just basic stratification.
Kmart.
You are just going to be stratified.
Time to get stratified. I like that.
Stratified. Exactly.
It's a D, not a T, though.
Stradivarius.
Oh,
there's a Romanian rapper named that, and now I'm knowing why he's named that.
Yeah.
I just thought that's his name. It's a weird name. You guys, I was today years old when I learned this. Thanks to Helen and Guru Nation and Darshan and Chris. Amazing.
Well, Chris looked it up, to be fair.
Okay. Chris used AI, right? Or just Google?
Just Google.
Just Google.
So my 2 cents on what you need to do, you need to diversify. Like Darshan's well diversified, right? The industry goes tits up. You're still okay.
It's got gas stations and stuff.
Yes, you are.
Would anyone like to buy my gas station? I'll offer it right now.
We just walked away from a plumbing company
I was just gonna say that. Like, what? I mean, I would have taken it.
No,
The plumbing company or the
really
gas
would.
station?
I'll take the gas station
Both.
over the plumbing company.
I'll do. I mean, I think like HVAC, plumbing, it's all phenomenal.
Okay, here's my advice to anyone else. Know what you're good at and just do that and what you're passionate about. I do not love my gas station. It's not the business I should be in.
Do you
what
run
you
it?
love. I have a partner who runs it, but every so often she'll ask me for stuff and I help out because I got into the business because my dad was running it and he was like, he left the country. He's like, here, buy this from me. So I did. And now I just like, I should not be in this business. I don't enjoy it. I hate looking at it.
Let me reiterate. So diversify into something else other than gas stations.
There you go. Actually, no. Until you buy my gas station, then diversify away. Don't not use gas stations yet.
Is there a world where clinical research does not exist in our lifetimes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
Wow.
I'll tell you how. If you
All right,
have
let's go.
enough raw data. In fact, yesterday's guidance, and I don't know if you guys followed this, FDA put out a guidance on real world evidence. And they are saying we want to actually get the data from EMRs. You now take that EMR data, start creating synthetic data. If you can apply that
in silica, in
silica, you start applying it to things in silica. If you know that it's a really good model, which we're not anywhere close to yet.
But in our lifetimes, I mean, if God is good, we live long enough to see it.
Right. So you start getting quantum computers in, and then you start doing all these other calculations. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it likely? Not yet.
What's your Reid Hoffman? Let's go around and end it with this. I gotta walk the dogs before the bats come out.
The bats are out already. I see them flying around. Are out. Yeah.
We're in Arizona, man. It's almost monsoon season. It's getting nasty here.
Dude, I'm at the beach right now. You guys should come here.
Man. You're well diversified. Listen, let's go around. Everyone give me your Reid Hoffman 2034 prediction for research. Let's go with Chris first.
I think everything will be fine come 2034. I think there'll be some hard times between now and then, harder than there is now.
Does it look the same as today? Sites, CROs, sponsors, vendors?
Yeah, with a few changes, probably, for the most part.
What's the changes, do you think?
Probably some sort of implementation of AI.
Does every site use eSource by then?
Most likely, yes.
We got Chris on the east. All right.
You hear that, Rosario? Better controls for the sponsor.
Okay. Let's go, Robert. 2034.
I think CROs are non-existent. I think tech is going to kind of fill in the gaps for.
Wait, not existent. So what's IQVIA doing then?
I don't know.
Site network.
Holy crap.
Yeah, maybe they're maybe. And listen, hopefully in 10 years we'll watch this and I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Where do they make their money then? By then, is it site networks and vendors?
I think site networks are going to consolidate. I think tech is going to fill in the gaps. I think real world evidence is going to be a big factor. There's new molecules and new molecular entities and new chemical entities are going to be just found via machines and AI, and they're going to identify these molecules. And, I think there's going to be, I even think healthcare is going to be completely different than we know it from right now. I think it's going to be kind of like that movie in Idiocracy, where you just put this thing in your mouth and up your butt and you kind of get diagnosed. Like literally.
Well, it is
dark.
So, and the butt thing doesn't work.
Hey, wait, can't there be a little better than that? I can't think of the name of the movie, but it's an alien movie where you just get in this glass tube and it does everything on you, right?
It's something like that, And then I really
that fast.
Prometheus is the name of the movie.
Dan, I'm telling you, I see industry veterans publishing articles. I don't want to say any names. And
they just it's after dark. They're asleep.
Well, it's not. It's they're high-ranking people at CROs that are no longer at CROs, and they're doing these large articles, and they're literally saying that that CROs are falling out of favor with large pharma, mid-size, and even to an extent small biotechs, and niche small CROs that focus in a certain area and do it better than anybody else are the ones who are winning business. And I just think this consolidation of large is going to collapse at some point. It's just not sustainable. The quality of the output that people are paying for is just simply not there. And incentives are misaligned. And I think people are going to start taking the bull by the horns and they're going to just do it themselves. That's my prediction. And
I like that world.
But didn't we kind of go through that in 2015-ish, where CROs were kind of dying off and sponsors were handling everything on their own? Not everything, and there were still CROs, but less so.
I mean, I think that's where the FSP model kind of, surfaced
Originated.
out. Yeah, originated. Like, oh, well, we'll just handle your data management. We'll just do your monitoring. We'll just do your stats.
I kind of
We'll just
agree
do
with
your-
that. Yeah, I
you
agree
know,
with that.
But I think it's going to be different, Chris. I just, I mean, if you look at the overall budget of what, you pay a CRO in terms of costing, if you translate that into a workforce that you can control internally at an organization, I mean, do you know what kind of team you could build and benefits you could offer? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, I think Dan, you mentioned, or Chris, I can't remember, it was one of you guys, but like when it's either that's going to happen or CROs are going to have to return to their grassroots on why they even came to this industry in the first place.
To simplify
things. It's so complicated. There's so many conflicts of interest, in my opinion. The
Yeah.
site network ownership, the recruitment aspect, the IRB aspect. I mean,
The
there's
owning
CROs,
the e-pros.
everything. They're just kind of gobbled up everything, which is good for the people that started those companies because now they're on yachts in the Mediterranean, sailing in Santorini. But
Life is tough.
I don't know. That's just my hunch. I hope maybe that doesn't happen, but I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be these differentiators. People have to start kind of offerings just have to be differentiated. Just everything just feels so much the same. So much the same.
What about you, Darshan? 2034. What's your Reid Hoffman prediction
So far,
for research?
I have 12 different predictions. So let's see.
12.
What, 12 different variables?
Predictions.
Oh,
So
12
I was writing
different
them down.
predictions. Okay.
12 possibilities.
No, we want
not
the most
possibilities.
likely.
12 things that'll be impacted.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay. So one was, I think data is going to become a lot more important. Data has been important for a long time, but I think the big play that everyone's looking for is everyone's trying to build models out, and they're going to need data. And right now, one of the big problems that AI is facing is there's not enough data. The growth in AI is stagnating, not because the AI can't move, but there's not enough stuff to train them on. So data is going to become really critical. So expect your clinical. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say we saw that at DIA in 2018.
There
was a lot of vendors trying to gather data.
Yeah, the problem is that
Trojan horses in all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, here's the problem: the CTAs haven't changed, the informed consents haven't changed in any significant way. All those need to change, and now with GDPR becoming more GDPR in the context of the AI bill from the EU, contextualized with what the US is probably going to land up doing, we're probably going to land up in a place where data is going to become more and more important, which really also leads to privacy issues becoming more and more critical. So subjects are going to have to are basically going to get battered down, not because they want to, but they simply won't know that their data is being abused. So who was the woman whose stem cells were used without
Henrietta Lacks.
Henrietta Lacks. So Henrietta Lacks, imagine that with data. That's the next generation of abuses that will come out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're probably going to see AI become something. To me, AI is like a 5th or 6th grader right now. You're more impressed that it can do stuff, not that it's actually doing anything really well.
Agreed.
But I think the next...
Give it 10 years, though, Darshan. I agree completely with what you're saying. Give it 10 years, though.
And that's my point. My point is in 10 years, it'll be more like a, I don't know, 12th grader. It might be more like a college professor who I don't know. What data will not have is context. And I think that's still where we are. And I think that it'll become a tool that someone's got to use and go, oh, this doesn't make sense. So what I mean by that, and I think every single one of you knows this very well. I know whenever I had to approve orders for when I worked in a pharmacy, 90% of the pop-ups on the EMR were garbage pop-ups. Do you really want to give DocuSign if the patient's on warfarin? Yes, I do. But the reason it existed was someone told their lawyer, like the lawyer told someone, we need to cover our butt, someone needs to put that in there. And the problem with that is you have bad training, which means that the computer thinks that DocuSign is a real problem with warfarin. No one gives a crap. And I think that bad training will result in bad AI. So keep that in mind as we continue. I think real world evidence will become a bigger and badder systems, big and bad in a good way, it's going to become a much bigger solution out there. I think remote health is going to become a bigger component because I believe that remote health patients are now, everyone's sort of going away from going to centralized locations, whether it's for work, whether it's for healthcare, whether it's for clinical trials. I think eventually we're going to say, I might have a centralized location to do everything, but I will still want to stay at home. So that first visit may be to Yuma Clinical Trials. Yuma Clinical Trials will coordinate everything, but the patient's saying, I don't need to come in for every single visit. Can we do those from home? So that might be what the future looks like in a clinical trials context. I think technology is going to continue to have problems because everyone's going to be like, I have a piece of technology. I'm seeing, and I mean this with all due respect to some of my tech founders, people who are like literally 20 years old coming in saying, I'm going to disrupt blah, blah, blah. Dude, you don't even know what you're talking about yet. You're coming in trying to say you want to disrupt an industry. You don't even know the industry. And they're basically saying, we'll figure it out. And I think that's not going to stop. There's just going to be new tech, a new variant of a new tech that's going to then solve problems that created by old tech. And that's going to keep happening. So I think tech's going to continue. I think we'll be on SMO version 19 because every freaking 2 years, someone comes out with a new variant of an SMO. And we're going to see site networks be another version of that. I think quantum computers are going to become a bigger deal because
nobody talks about that yet. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Because I think that's the only big thing we can see on the horizon.
What do you think that does, quantum computing, to our industry? Like,
so for those people who don't know what quantum computers are, what they can do is computers right now are very binary. Yes, no, on, off. Quantum computers can work in qubits and the like, and essentially coming up to yes, no, maybe, so, and different variants thereof, which means that they can calculate much, much faster. Things that would take normal computers 30,000 years to figure out, quantum computers will do. I think there was a newspaper report on this. Quantum computers will do this in like 30 seconds. So they're going to use it for things like weather. But they can't use it, for example, processing your calculator. It doesn't do anything for a calculator. It doesn't need that kind of power.
Right.
So I think you'll just get better, more complex models, and quantum computers will be able to use and process those models in a much better way. You're going to start connecting that, for example, to predict drug shortages, to predict where patients are, to predict the likelihood of success of a potential drug. Those are going to be things that the future is going to start looking like.
Kind of already seeing some of that.
Yeah.
Especially that last part.
So do you want me to keep going? Because I have like 3-4 more.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Okay. We're wrapping up right now, so just keep going.
Okay. I think the point everyone was raising, I think Robert had a really good point on CROs. I don't think large CROs will exist the way they are. I think you will have, but I don't think it's going to be as simple as they won't exist. I think there's a role and a place for them. The role and place for large CROs is essentially where they are right now is they're IBM. No one ever got fired for hiring IBM. The problem is, as the gold standard, everyone can get used to it, but you're going to get niche CROs, and they're going to be able to do a job better, faster, cleaner. I do pediatric oncology. That's what I do. I do it better than any large CRO out there. And those are going to be the ones that succeed. I help startup companies get your first product to market. Those are going to exist.
So riches are in the niches.
Exactly. Riches are in the niches. But I think there's also going to be this continuous thing that I think Chris mentioned a few seconds ago and Helen mentioned a few seconds ago. This idea of insourcing versus outsourcing. You're going to keep getting this back and forth. Every 2 to 3 to 4 years, we have this where large sponsors go, you know what, we're going to insource all of the clinical research into our internal departments. And they're going to start doing it themselves and then go, that's too much of a pain in the ass. Let's outsource some of this and this is this. Eventually someone else takes it over. And then they go, we're going to insource everything all over again. And that's just, that wave will continue. I don't see CROs going.
But now it's a global market though.
Sure. Why does that change anything?
It doesn't. Well, may change things for U.S. workers watching.
Oh, so that's fair. But so that's the impact on sort of salaries and the like, right?
Yep.
So those people who are saving money, if you guys know what FIRE is, look into FIRE.
You love that.
I do love FIRE.
All right, you have one more? Or how many?
I have two more.
Two more. Okay.
Two more. One is new players. I think we saw pharmacies have a rise in their importance in clinical research. I think Walgreens just announced today or yesterday that they just got a BARDA grant, which is kind of big. So I don't know how much they will come in. As someone who's a pharmacist, I'd be really happy to have pharmacists become a bigger player, but we're still working through that. I don't know what that means yet. But I think there'll be, this is going back to the last point I had, I think there'll be new players that come out, and I think some players are necessary. And what am I talking about? Someone else raised this concept, and I love the idea of it. I've had clients who are small sites who aren't getting paid enough. I would love to see the rise of like an ombudsman who basically comes out and says, you know what? I'm going to be responsible for making sure everyone gets paid. So essentially they become like almost do you guys know what a PBM is?
Pharmacy benefits manager.
Correct. These guys are the ones who create direct contracts. They get the best prices.
Pricing control.
They're actually being sued by potentially being sued by the FTC. Yeah. But the point being, you're going to start getting these niche players who are going to do something unique, something special that we haven't thought of yet. And I think that'll be really interesting. But no one's making those changes yet because we don't even know what those rules might look like. But I love the idea of someone going, let's think outside the box. I don't need the latest version of an SMO. What can we do differently and bring value to the industry?
Yeah, interesting.
And
well,
Dan, what about you?
I mean, I'll keep mine short because I agree.
He doesn't want to get bit by bats, everybody.
No, but I agree with everything you guys said. I don't have actually anything I heard that I disagree with. Maybe the pharmacy thing, but I think they're gonna still try to push that. I predict there's still going to be coordinators. There's still going to be CRAs. There's still going to be PIs. There's still going to be patients. I predict way more physicians participate in research. I do see that happening. And I think somebody or a group or a consortium or something similar to SIP, which is Shared Investigator Portal, I believe, or whatever that alliance was, Transcelerate between the big pharma. I think they actually get an alliance between some of the sites and pull off something akin to research in a box, where you could make it almost very simple for any doctor who's never done research to do research. And I guess that's my big prediction, really.
That sounds like really next generation to me. Wink, wink.
Yeah, there's a lot of people already doing little parts of it. So you're just gonna need a couple groups to put everything together and get people to cooperate. And I think you've got an unlock to where you could double the amount of PIs doing studies every year, which is, I think if we can do that by 2034, I think that's a stretch goal. I see that as a possibility. And maybe that's somewhat related to the pharmacies getting into research, but I think it's slightly different take on the same concept.
Well, we shall reconvene. We shall reconvene in 10 years and
we're going to replay this.
Yes.
And we're going to see who was closest to being right. I think we're all going to be somewhat right. And then there's going to be something that nobody saw. That's like, whoa, maybe a super volcano or something.
Dan, make sure you let us know that you got home safely from the bats. I'm concerned.
Yes.
You're getting rabies.
My husky is banging on the door. Like, they're like almost like people. Like, he knows what time it is.
And I almost sent you a video today. Speaking of,
I saw that Yosemite. I knew you would send me that.
Yeah, I almost sent it to you. That Yellowstone went off a bit.
I saw that on Twitter. Thank God we're still here. By the way, X. Thank you guys for watching. You've been holding it down on X. We got to show more respect to X, formerly known as Twitter. Thank you all for being a part of it. Go follow everybody underneath. Chris kind of has a LinkedIn. Robert does.
I logged in for the first time in 7 years just the other day.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud. By 2034, I predict Chris will remember his login. Robert's going to have more profile pics, and Darshan's going to have like 20 more gas stations, probably.
Oh, nice. Good for you, Darshan.
Subscribe, comment, share, follow every single one of these people.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.